Walt Disney was a visionary for the ages. A boy with a dream whose passion and joy for creating fun experiences led him to build an empire worth $190 billion. All from a cartoon mouse he drew on a train from New York to LA. What if I were to tell you the Walt Disney of the gaming industry could be right in front of you? I think it's important we identify the ingredients that led a poor, risk-happy dreamer to pioneer an entire industry, creating a beloved brand that has grown for over 50 years, to help identify current entrepreneurs that may capture that same spirit. Stay till the end, and you'll see that you still have a chance to hop on this next train before it leaves the station. Walt Disney was known for a couple of things: having more imagination than everyone else in the room, constantly staying at the front of technology, always pushing the boundaries of what was possible in the world of animation, and lastly, being full of joy and being obsessed with creating that in everyone else.
Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world. Thank you.
So now let me introduce you to our second character, Mark Otero, dungeon master, game creator, CEO of Azra Games. Mark's ultimate desire is to recreate in his games the untethered imagination a child has when playing with toys in a sandbox.
You know, it was my hardship that ignited my creativity, and tabletop gaming, like for many of you with BattleTech, Warhammer, Dungeon Dragons, you know, that became my creative canvas. And I was alive. I felt so alive. I have never felt like that before. And I became a dungeon master for over 10 years.
After 8 successful endeavors creating RPGs, he decided he earned his right to retire, but came out of it when he saw the chance for blockchain technology to enable an entire new level of immersion in games. It's an upgrade to his canvas, perhaps similar to when Walt Disney was able to leap from 2 to 3 strip Technicolor animations back in the 1930s.
Personally, you know, why I decided to come back and design a game again was I was doing some coding on Solana using Rust, and it occurred to me, I had this epiphany. I remember as a dungeon master, the players had something called character sheets. And on these character sheets was stats like strength, intelligence, dexterity, armor class, and it was basically an inventory list of your weapons and armor. And the players, you know, when they held these character sheets, and they usually had 2 or 3 of these, they would light up and become that character. It was literally at that moment, there was a lightning bolt that hit me in the head. And that was the early versions of paper NFTs back in the 80s and 90s.
So, we have another visionary whose personal life experience led him to a singular goal, who's always staying on the frontier with his craft, pushing the boundaries of the existing technology, and whose love for what he does is represented in everything he touches. Now, I understand I'm making a bold comparison, and it's time I back it up with some receipts. How does a $1.5 billion receipt sound? Let's start a bit earlier. In 2008, Mark had a bold idea that he shared with his friend Ken Walton. Within 18 months, that idea for an RPG grew to a studio of over 75 people. Eventually, his studio Click Nation was acquired by EA, where he would go on to create 7 more successful games, the most recent of which is Star Wars: Galaxy of Heroes. I wanted to get a sense for the types of games he creates, so I downloaded it and played. And it's immediately clear what Mark means by replicating the feeling of collecting toys and battling with them in a fun and unique way. This level of achievement is what allowed him to retire, but just like another GOAT I can think of, he couldn't keep himself from his craft for too long. The call of a new frontier led Mark Otero to found his latest game studio, Azra, and he's on a mission. Let's remember what can be created from even the simplest of goals.
So we'd start out and try to go someplace with, different things, and take them to the merry-go-round, and I took them different places. And as I'd sit there while they rode the merry-go-round, did all these things, sit on a bench, eating peanuts, I felt that there should be something built, some kind of an amusement enterprise built where that the parents and the children could have fun together. So that's how Disneyland started. Well, it took many years. It was a whole period of maybe 15 years developing it.
We heard Mark talk about the inspiration that stemmed from his childhood experience, getting lost in imaginary worlds. So it's no surprise that Azra Games believes that the childhood experience of owning, battling, and storytelling with everything in your toy box is the most immersive form of gaming. And they're dedicated to recapturing that freedom for the modern era. So, what is his next game you can get lost in?
One of the greatest community-driven RPG games on this planet. Our 9th collectibles and combat RPG, Legions and Legends.
The scope of this game is vast. The combat system is one of a kind that captures the large toy box experience.
Legions and Legends.
I like where this is going, but let's understand a bit about the universe this sandbox is built in and what toys we will be getting to play with. Here's the setup.
The legend of Arcanus. Eons ago, at the dawn of our future, a family of celestial gods lived in harmony under a single all-powerful elder god. When time came for his ascendant death, the elder god decreed his successor would be chosen through war. The victorious god would gain the throne and the power of creation and destruction. Each god traveled through space and time in search of legendary warriors, loyal, passionate, lethal, to be their commanders and the foundation of their worlds. The gods and their legions clashed in fierce battles, until finally the goddess Arcanus was victorious. She became the new elder god. Her brother, the god Hadron, was enraged by defeat and led their siblings in a violent uprising, so Arcanus used her new power to end the rebellion by killing them all. However, to the mortals that remained on our worlds, she showed mercy. The great elder god Arcanus, powerful and fair, united our galaxy in peace, a peace that endures to this day.
You can see the Dungeons and Dragons coming through already. Powered by a love for immersive storytelling and recreating childlike joy in adults, Mark is set on a path traveled by few. If you're interested in joining him, there's some things you should know. In September of last year, Azra Games released their Genesis NFT collection for free, the Hopefuls. Another term they like to use to describe these hopefuls is play forever passes. I'll let you decide what that means. Of course, I would never ever give you financial advice, so I will not tell you to go to OpenSea and buy one if you haven't already. But what I will tell you is this. Azra has put a lot of time into making sure they reward community members who engage with them on their socials and participate in the Discord. Right now, you can hop in, play some games, retweet their posts, enter the Explore to Earn section, and a whole lot more in order to win a soft currency. You can even earn enough to purchase a hopeful from their store outright. So, whether you're a DGen NFT investor looking to get in early on a project, a kid trapped in an adult's body just waiting to experience the thrill of getting lost within the world of a video game, or you're just a curious technology enthusiast looking for the next visionary that can hit targets no one even thought to look for, Azra Games represents something you should be watching. It's the next chapter in the story of a boy whose creative passion and limitless imagination gives birth to wonderful worlds of magic and fantasy that all can enjoy. And as we know from the life of Walt Disney, the best stories stick around much longer than their author. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Am I going too far comparing Mark to a visionary in Walt Disney?
Were your films principally designed for children?
Well, no, you have to appeal to the adult, or, the adults have the money, the children don't have any money.
But so that there was nothing childish in your intent?
No, we sort of designed the films to appeal to ourselves.
I am a dreamer, a storyteller, and I express myself by making RPG games for you and for me.